Good morning, hello, and a happy Monday. Hope you all having a great day so far. Hope you all had a great weekend. Hey, Xanax, how are you doing today? Alan, you're right. The mic is really, 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 really sensitive. All right, how about this? Uh, Good morning should be significantly better. I completely forgot that on Friday after the stream, volume is very low now. Way better. Yeah, I had it muted while I was playing around with it because I can see the amount that it would be, and I figured that I could actually play with the volumes without blowing your ears out. I figured that might be nice. It just looks a little bit weird for your side. But yeah, so I completely forgot that on Friday after the stream, I had my ex boss. Well, I guess he's my ex boss, who then became my new boss again. When I switched over to contract role, he came over and we recorded some test podcast stuff together for like a potential leadership podcast. And I forgot that I had switched this into full room mode and turned the gain way up so that way it could hear it could hear us both. Because we're not like that close, we're sitting slightly farther away. That, as you might imagine, is not the settings that I'm using for the stream. So then I'm like, yeah, the microphone's literally right in front of me. Everything seems fine. And then it's like, ooh, I'm blowing out speakers. Sorry about that. All right. But it got all of you to come out and say hi, I guess. So hello, Asitsu. Hello, Bamero, and Albert. How you all doing today? Also, Albert, thank you so much for the feedback in the channel for the course. Super good feedback. That's really awesome. I have one of the features I think already implemented, but I'm not sure. I don't think I have a system set up for it to implement this sort of like the what is it called? The labels, but if we take a look at, I think no, not content, in nav, where's my navs? Navigations. I have this, where I have the ability to nest articles within each other according to the navigation. And I think that's exactly what you're talking about essentially, because I can now have, okay, this is in this section, this is in this section, this is in this section. Yeah, so I do have that ability to do that. I just, I don't know why. I added it in here and I'm like, is it really necessary? Do people really want that? I don't know. So let me just ignore it for a while. So I guess now we're gonna have to figure out how to incorporate that. It shouldn't be too hard. It's basically just a parent-child relationship, but I'll need to make a change to the LMS to build this and possibly database. Wait. Was that Unreal Realities? Oh no. Did I okay, hold on, let me go back into this. That was Unreal Realities. I'm so sorry about that. Unreal Realities. I misread that in my brain and I thought it was okay. Never mind. Sorry about that. Unreal. Thank you so much for this feedback. This is amazing feedback. So Yeah, basically, for everybody else who's watching, I got Unreal went through the course, or at least I think is mostly going through the course. So TLDR for the future, or L, I guess. It feels worth the $5. Um, and let's see, there's some nice little navigation type stuff to do. So like having the labels for nav would be nice. Having a review check mark, so like having some more than just the little check mark next to it to sort of see, hey, I want to like go through it again and see it. So something around that would be nice. Now this is a small course, so I probably don't need it for the SQLX to do the nesting, but definitely for like an Axum course or just a programming in general course, definitely need those. We have some just changes to the course article content itself, which I think is pretty good. And the review, and then target audience, which I mentioned in here in the private channel, but target audience is right now going to be junior developers or mid-level who have not worked in database very much. Like, you know, you're aware of SQL stuff and you've like done a little bit of SQL, but like you've not really like, it's time for you to like actually go into it a lot more. So this is more of a course on like how to use SQLX, essentially, that, if that makes sense. Yeah, what I want to do is I want to eventually have like the full gamut, but I do feel that there's a lot of good content out there for senior devs. There's a lot of good content for juniors who are almost senior. I feel like that content might even need to be more leadership type stuff of like, here's how to lead a team. Here's how to do that kind of stuff, because you probably got the technical stuff on, down. Junior and just first starting out, there's a lot of content out there, but it's not necessarily great at teaching, if that makes sense. Bamero, are you building a full LMS a la corporate solutions? So the eventual idea is that I could potentially take a contract with a company and run staff through training. So it's like, hey, we just hired a bunch of people. We need them to have Rust skills or web development skills or something else. I could create a course, throw it in here, have it be private, and then like run them through in like sort of like a live course. So essentially, it's all of the above is what I want. Now, early on, obviously, it's just you all who's going to be the customer of it, but it's something that I'm thinking about. One thing we do in Wire in courses in our LMS, we can see when employees take courses on Udemy. Oh, interesting. So wait. Well, I can see which articles that you all have logged into and like started. So I can't I don't want to show that off right now, but I could run a query and find out like, okay, here's how far Unreal got into it. Here's how far Albert, you got into it. I can see that. Eventually I'm going to write a GUI that I can see that. But yeah, I have a friend. So one of my mentors does trainings and he has worked at enterprise stuff. And he found that wasn't really as it wasn't necessary. Like he was still able to make sales, and everything was fine. What he found was more difficult was just like getting the people that were like told, hey, you have to take this course. Like we as a company purchased this course from this random internet person, you have to go take it, and getting them to actually go and like be invested in it was really, really hard. That's like, if it's you all and you're buying it, that's one thing. Like you generally want to do it, right? If you're being told to do it, it's a little bit harder to get people invested. And especially if it's a reskill, because that means that the company is basically saying, hey, you're great, that's awesome, you need to learn something new. Otherwise, you may or may not be around here for very much longer. Like that's usually the message that they get, which is not a conducive to learning message. But all right, yeah, so that's the plan. Now, I had already previously started on the LMS, so I think what we'll do is, because we have some really good feedback on this, I want to finish this thing on the LMS. Then we can then we'll look at the feedback after we get that done, and then we'll work on that until I feel that like I'm at least ready to run the live course on it. And then I'll probably open up for sales for solo go-throughs and signups for the live course. So I'm hoping by the end of this week, that's the hope. The hope is by the end of this week, we'll at least take signups for a live course. And I don't know how many people yet. Vindev, hello. How are you doing today? Okay, so what am I working on? Oh, I remember what I'm working on. We want the ability to reset. So we have some tests in here. Let's go ahead and I want pane down, open up, what is it? MPX run test UI. Why do you need to install that? You didn't need to install that before. Am I missing something? Like here's playwright report stuff is here. Here's node modules. Okay, I wasn't sure if there was going to be a sneaky third one in there. Yeah, well, apparently I need to install run whatever that is. Uh-oh. Matching or watching Brixfield's LMS and all subject trees not excluded by your what? I have you running a local. Okay. Hold on. What's going on with this? So MVM. Let's try that. We had this working last week. Okay, apparently it was the wrong version of Node. That would do it. Okay, so we are, where is it? It's course, is it course articles? Course access? No, course articles for an author should add an article to a course. No, okay. I have one that's failing test. Oh, that's course articles. I want probably just articles. Create article. Author can create an article. There we go. There's our failing test. And it's because we successfully empty out the title after we create the article, but the body remains. So we need to figure out a way to make the article body go away afterwards. The problem is that the article body doesn't have any kind of like binding with the value. So I need some way to make that go away. My thought on this is we have a text area. So here's our text area. We don't have any like, there's no value or anything else in here. From my understanding, the way this works is, and we can play around with this. So the way I've set up this YCL, unfortunately, there's no like playbook. There's no, is it playbook or is play or book something, right? There's no one of those for you or any of the Rust front end frameworks yet, which is really unfortunate because it's such an amazing library system, which I've completely forgot the name of, for developing cookbook. No, it's not cookbook. It's now I need to go look it up. Let's see. Now I want to do this search outside here in case it's like really, really bad. Like live build design components. Let's see, it works with Vue, React, web. Man, it gets like every blog out there, but that doesn't get what I want. Let's see. You want to preview? No, that just brought up a bunch of preview stuff. I think there's something about book in it. Storybook. Storybook is what I'm talking about. This is it. So with Storybook, you're able to create components, play with them, like design them. And so this is, if you've never used something like this and do web development, you're missing out a lot. I really miss like not having something like this in Rust web dev. So what I want, I sort of like built a half-assed, not super great, but this is like my playground here for this, where I can play with it and sort of figure it out. So if you have go to forms, I'm going to play in this area here and see if we could figure out and get it working here. And then that will help us like figure out what we want to do elsewhere. So in our YCL here, I want to open up source pages, prototypes, pages, forms. All right, so this is this all inside of a form? This is not inside of a form. So, no, it is right here, BB form. So probably somewhere near the end here. Let's do a, oh, there's the button. So let's do it here. And then I can do a title. So let's see, BB titles, we have level. Come on. BB title, BB title level. Let's make this a 2. What do I have in here? This is a 1. This is a 2. I guess I could do another. I could do another form. I could do a second form. Maybe that's better. We'll do this down here. BB container. So this could be a 2, right? So BB title, level, BB title level, 2. I don't think I care if this is centered or not, so. And then here we're gonna have maybe like text field. Is it text field? It's text text area. Okay, so I want a BB text area. Ooh, I don't know if it knows how to find that. And a button. It's gonna be this. Instead of create account, it would be submit. Okay, so if I write that, oh, you're unhappy. That's the reason why I'm not getting other help. Expected, okay, so mismatch closing tags. Expected BB title. All uppercase T. Oh, that's fun. Unexpected end of input. So I probably this one here. No? Okay. So I have BB container. Oh, right there. Failed to close the tag. Okay. This is the worst part of Rust HTML dev. I suppose I could put this into a separate file, but that's not no fun. But I know some people are working on it. There's some people who are in the Discord for you who are working on something to lint and properly give a lot better feedback inside of the HTML macro, which if that gets set up, it's going to be a game changer. All right, so this is a BB text area. There it is. Okay, and then you should yell at me saying, okay, we're missing props. Okay, so we're missing the prop ID. So we need ID equals, we'll just do text area. Label is missing. So label equals should empty on submit. Name is missing. Name. I guess we'll just call this text area. And that's happy. Let's new line these. Okay. So here's our text area. We have our submit button. And so the idea here is that when I type a bunch in and I hit submit, I want this to go away. I want to make you disappear. and I could do it on, I can like do something on submit to like capture this and then deal with the data as it were. But I don't really care that much about it. What I want to do is I probably need to pass in a value to it. And that way when the value changes, it resets it, right? So we need like a value on init. So I need like a pub initial. No, I probably just want value. I want value. It's gonna be an attribute value. If it's blank, that I want this to be proper default. So that way it doesn't yell at me. And then in text areas, do you give it a value or do you put it in between? I think you give it a value, right? So if I do something like this, value equals props dot value dot clone. Let's see what happens. Oh, I guess like nothing's gonna happen yet. I need to now for you set an initial value equals we'll say like something like testing. Okay, there we go. So we have testing. This is in here. We can add to it, and that's all great. Now, when I submit this, I want to. When I submit this, I want to both emit out what was changed to see that. And then I also need to reset it, right? Like I need to change what's contained. So let's see. Tea Kettle Drone. Hello, how are you doing today? You have a, let's see, oh, I don't even have like a, I don't have anything. Oh, because like the form is on submit. I have a form that's on submit. Okay, so hold on. This is not yet there yet. I want to, in the container, we have a title like this. I need a form. Okay. On the form, I think I have an on submit. You're doing good. You really enjoy the stream. Well, thank you very much. I'm doing pretty good. I had sort of like questionable sleep last night, so I'm hoping that I don't just sort of like hard crash in the middle of the stream or just like can't type or something. But besides that, things are going really well. It is getting cold though. I have a space heater on, which is one of the reasons why Izzy decided to hang out with us. And also the camera's not capturing his face. All right, much better. He loves doing this. He loves hanging parts of himself off of things. And I've never, like, it doesn't feel or look comfortable, even for a cat, to just have your head down all the time. but he'll do it with his head. He'll do it with legs. He'll like do it with tails. He just loves like having it off the thing, and he has plenty of room. It just doesn't want to be all on it. Okay, so I think let's go find a form, and in here we have a on submit, and that gives me form data, and so we can take a look at that. So we're going to come back to here, and I need to create, I could do it inline here, or we can create just a function up here. We have a lot of stuff going on in this component, so let's see, this is going to be a text area. We are going to get a form data, which I guess will, oh, it's not debug, it's a glue console log. Okay, so we have you, text area on submit, and we throw you in here. Okay, no errors. That's good, which means that I should be able to open up their terminal. And we should be able to see, okay, so we have testing a bunch of stuff. And okay, so we have form data testing a bunch of stuff. Great. Now I want this to go away, but still get the form data coming out properly. The only place where we currently heat is the bathroom. In the other rooms, we put warm clothes. Yeah, I don't have the central heater on yet. Like that will come on when we need to like prevent the place from freezing over the winter. But we have like a fireplace on the first floor. We have I have like a nice space heater down here. We have a couple more space heaters that we can just like heat one room at a time. And then since we're like working remote, the only rooms that I'm in is like one room at a time. Usually I can leave and just like be cold with, you know, warm clothes for a little while. It's fine. Zilby's not too happy. He wants to be warm in every room. But he has to just, you know, accept that. Okay. Now, on submit. When I submit, I want to set the value of this to nothing again. So, nope, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this. Is there such a thing as a bookmark in Helix? There's a jump list picker. I don't think that's exactly what I want. Oh, because that's like me jumping around, isn't it? Is there, let's see. Open last picker, that's probably not what I want. Is there, ooh, save current selection to jump list. Control S. Oh, so I can do something like this. Control S. Go down. What did I just do? I opened up a dump file. What? Huh, I opened up a new helix. Okay, I don't know what that was. So I did control. Oh, that. I need to lock Zellage. Then I can do control S, save the jump list. Then I want U, control S, save the jump list. Now we can open up U. So we have our text area. Is that right? I'm confused about which thing, like how to easily find what I just saved. So pages forms. That's the new one I created, right? Oh, it's these two things. It's these two things at the bottom. Interesting. Okay. All right. So back up here. What I want is I want some state that I can hold the value in. So this is going to be let text area state. Okay, we're going to use state. This is a text. What type is it? Attribute value. I don't think I can do a from, right? Because it doesn't, it could be a number, it could be different things. So we have to do like from that. Okay. Then in here, when I empty you out, so I probably want to do the block trick. That we're going to clone in textarea state. So we're going to move this in. So after we log out what we got out, I want to text area value. We're going to set you to be a attribute value from nothing. Okay. You're good to go. So now I can take, ooh, you're upset. Type, okay, don't worry. I think you'll figure it out as soon as we plug it in here. I think. So value instead of this will now be text area on no, not on submit. Text area state. Nope. Okay, that did not figure it out. Expected FN1 closure. Oh, yeah. I need to do something like that. I forgot how use state works. Okay, that makes you happy. Oh, we still have this area, so you need to be use state handle is not satisfied. Oh, I need to deref it out. So can I just do something like that? Sort of. I need to deref clone it. That works. Okay. So nope, not that browser. So now we have nothing in here. I can start, I can type, I can leave, I can hit submit. And that gave me what it was, but it didn't empty it out. Well, okay, so that didn't exactly work the way I expected it to. I was really hoping that would just work. And then, hey, we got it. We can now implement this into the main thing. But okay, so we have value equals u. When the value changes, the value, okay, so the value must be changing, right? So like we're doing this, that triggers a re-render, which then re-renders this, passes in the new value, which means that you get the new value, but you've already rendered this with the old value. So when the new value happens, I need you to re-render and change. So how do we want that to work? I want to grab, I mean, we could use a use effect. Use effect would work here. Do we have the use hooks? I think so. Wait, this isn't, no, I don't have the use hooks in here. So we could do use effect. Basically, every time after the component's render has finished. Oh, using you. Looked at some Rust WASM stuff today. And interested in getting into it. You'll try using Leptos. I've heard a lot of really good things about Leptos. So if you try it out, let us know how you like it. This hook is similar to use effect, but it accepts dependencies. Whenever the dependencies are changed, the effect callback is called again. To detect changes, dependencies must implement partial equal, which I think that the attribute value does. Okay, so I think we can let's use use effect with because I completely ignored this during the course when I created it. You were wondering why you were seeing HTML stuff in Rust? Yeah, otherwise it would be really weird to just throw that in like just random Rust projects. It's like, here, HTML stuff, have fun. What are you? Are you we have the function, okay, and the dependencies second. So use effect with deps, function first. So that would be like that. And then dependencies, what if I put props dot value, we clone you in. So when this changes, I probably need an internal state now, right? So we have is loading prop. Okay, so that change, that's great, but I don't think I can do anything with, okay, so I need like then an internal state to update the state and get that to change. So then we also need something like let value. And we should probably just clone in the value, right? So value. Props of value. I can't clone it in at this point. I'm gonna have to do. Okay, you state let props value. Right? No, maybe I can do this. Oh, maybe I can do this all separately. We do this, right? So I just start this with an empty string. So this is going to be a attribute value from like that. And then inside of here, I take in the props value. That's going to be the props value. And then I want to, inside of here, set the value. So value. Oh, but to do that, I need to clone the value. So I need to do a move. Which means we need a block in here. So I can say let value equals value.clone. We're going to say value. We're going to set you to be the props value. That's all we care about. What are you upset about? Mismatch types found, expected iString found. Oh, it's okay. So we have to clone you again. Luckily, cloning attribute values are really cheap. And then you become this value where now instead of props value, you just become value. Trait bound, use state handle. Okay, so do I have to deref you now? I do. Okay. So you're happy. I was really hoping that was going to cause it to change, but that didn't work. Okay, so what's the? Let's put a log in here. So we have use effect with that. Okay, so we're gonna have glue console log use effect running. And I can even pass in like a reference to props value. Not set. Okay, so it doesn't know what to do with that. Can I just clone you? And then you know what to do with it? You don't know what to do with it. Oh, come on, give me something more that I can do with it. So you're that iString. Ooh, how can I like debug out? I want to get the content of the string back from this, which it's not letting me do that, or at least I need to go look into like how to get that out. Oh, Aster. Okay, that's all I want. Of course, it wasn't giving me that when I wanted it. Okay. So that should now print out use effect running empty string. We change you. It did not run again. Okay. So because it didn't change. Oh, the use effect didn't change because the value didn't change. Oh no. Okay. I suppose there's a couple ways we can handle this. What are we drinking? This is, what is it? It's this is a wheatgrass a drink, but instead of going out and getting like fresh wheatgrass, I found a place that does powdered wheatgrass. So I just add water to it. And the idea, the theory, and I think that like, well, my wife got it for me, and she's the one who does believe that it works, and I think it might work, but it's hard to tell, is that it helps with grain hair. Yep, wheatgrass. That's literally it. It's all gone. Otherwise, I'd show you. Well, I mean, it'd probably be, it's green, so it would green screen out. But yeah, it's literally like normally if you go to like one of the places that do it, they have like little patches of wheatgrass running, and they cut it off and then like put it through a juicer, and then you just get the juice of the wheatgrass. It was pretty popular in at least California for a while. I don't know if I see like too many people drinking it anymore, but yeah, that's so that's what I drink in the morning. Of course, I don't drink fresh wheatgrass because that's too expensive. Elite Code, hello. How are you doing today? And I'm doing pretty good. We're trying to figure out this this life cycle stuff that we want to deal with. Oh, and Unreal, I see your note in here. I'll probably be looking through this a lot like closer when we finish this issue. Then I'll go into like all of this stuff. So hopefully we'll do it by the end of today. Quick question: why using Rust for web instead of JS? So there's a couple answers for it. Some of them are glib, but nonetheless, some people will be attracted to it. So the one of the ones is speed. So if you have like heavy computations or you need to do lots of stuff, Rust frameworks for the web are currently leading the pack as long as you're not using native. But if you're comparing it against something like React or even some of the other ones, it's gonna be faster. Now, caveat, Vue is not one of those super fast ones, but Leptos is. It is, I think, leading the charge in speed for front-end frameworks for Rust. Second, maybe you want to develop with one of the strongest type systems available to us, like even stronger than TypeScript. And in that case, you may not care about speed of the execution of the code, but you want speed of development. You want to make it so it's easy for you to like update things later on when you're coming back to them. Rust can help that out a lot. And then finally, and this is the more glib one, there's a decent number of people out there who just hate JavaScript to the point where literally anything else is what I'm going to do. And some of those people like Rust. And so therefore that's what they would do. But WebAssembly allows that now. Like it is perfectly valid now to build applications using another language that's not JavaScript. So those are my three answers. Hopefully it helps. So I have this value attribute, and I set you to be I said you'd be that. First of all, thank you for the answer. Well, I'm glad to help with that. Is there going to be a follow up? I'll be happy to answer more follow ups too. read many articles said Rust not give you good performance for web, but Rust is good for other types of app systems, or web services. Golang still good. So I guess like there, I haven't seen any evidence of that Rust on web is not going to be good for performance. There seems to be evidence otherwise that Rust is good. There's a YouTube video which I need to go find, by the Leptos creator. So I think it's actually on Leptos web Rust. I think it's on the GitHub or on their webpage. It's not this video, right? No, this is it in 5 minutes. The creator of Leptos wrote a really good created a really good video on the speed and the performance and why WebAssembly is actually fast, and why many of the articles claiming that it's not fast don't have any ground to stand on. Like anything, performance really depends on what you're doing with it. That's also very true. But I don't remember where. Wait, can I go to like their YouTube? It's from Greg Johnston. There it is. The truth.
Greg, creator of the Leptos web.
The truth about Rust WebAssembly performance. Sorry, I don't have any audio on this computer to the microphone, so you won't be able to hear it. But let me share. Get that. So take a look at this. There's he goes through and basically shows, okay, if you're like creating a bunch of forms and other stuff, which you could run yourself, and sort of like double check it and make sure that it's all correct. You can see when it's like creating like 1,000 rows, appending thousands of rows, and doing other stuff. And they have like a lot of different frameworks sort of set up for it. The fact that Rust is fast also suggests that it has more direct solution. I think it's so the main reason why a lot of people think that it should be slower is because WebAssembly can't affect the DOM directly. You still need some JavaScript code that does the DOM manipulations. And so what's happening is the JS code is basically sending messages, sending commands into WebAssembly code that then does stuff and then tells back, okay, I've done the thing, now do this thing. Now create this like DOM element and inject it into the DOM. Even if it's using like Shadow DOM or Virtual DOM, I can't remember which one, or something like that. Those are the reasons why you get slowed, is because it's using that technology. Leptos doesn't use that technology. And so it's still just like pure DOM manipulation, but that's it, just normal DOM manipulation. And therefore it's as fast as you can possibly be, minus the WebAssembly stuff. But the WebAssembly stuff runs really fast. Like I think people underestimate how fast WebAssembly runs in a browser. And then let's see. Probably need to check again with Axum. So Axum is more of a backend framework, right? So when it comes to backend, now it's server type stuff. There's no web, there's no DOM. It's just basically how to create, like you want to create objects, which are really just like little text snippets that get sent across, and then deserialized or serialized into different things. So for backend, there's no reason why, like if Rust is fast, not in web for backend, there's not really a logical reason for it not to also be fast for web backend, because there's not really that big of a difference. Like networking is networking is part of so many different applications. It's not really going to be that big of a difference there. but Axum is extremely fast and very good. And yeah, I would highly recommend looking at Axum. Axum is really awesome. I think this could be potentially be true about other WASM compiled languages. Zig could achieve the same if implemented in a manner similar to U or Leptos. Yes, agreed. Absolutely agreed. Because it's pre-compiled, right? So as long as it doesn't have a garbage collector in the runtime inside of WebAssembly, then we're good to go. So as long as whatever is creating it can remove that aspect of it, then it can be just as fast as Rust in that matter. And I think that's the reason why Rust is fast by default with WebAssembly, is because it's it doesn't have that garbage collector already. You don't need to do any extra work to try to sort of like figure out how to not include it in WebAssembly. Zig not for web. Well, but that's the thing, is like, if you can compile to WebAssembly, suddenly it is for web. That's the fun thing, is that every language that has a target compilation for WebAssembly is now a web language. So like C, you can run C, you could run C++, you can go run Python, you can run all that stuff. As long as you compile it for WASM, it's now web support. Then it's just a matter of preference. Zig finds a different niche of programmer than Rust. Exactly. We're really, WASM is the LLVM for web. I think that's a great way to think about it. Like already, a good way that I usually teach students once they get like more towards the end of a course and sort of like getting used to programming and what that means, is the browser is a VM. Like, think of the browser as just a VM that runs code. Previously, the only code that was allowed to run on it, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and that was it. But now, WASM and those other ones. I mean, for each language, programming was created for same reason. What do you mean? Like, I guess like there's a lot of languages were created to be generic, solve many different problems languages. And in that case, it's not really you wouldn't say that Rust is only good at one thing. You wouldn't say like Go can only be used for like cloud programming, which is one of the primary reasons we might pick up Go. But you could say Go does everything. You wouldn't say that Python only does data science type stuff, because like it's used for everything, and it can be used for everything. Now, there's some languages that absolutely is true. With R, you can use it for other things, but I've never heard of anybody using R for anything other than data science and quantum computing. Like those are the two uses that I've seen people use R in. Each has different philosophies, design choices, etc. For example, Haskell takes a very theoretical approach and enforces well-defined language semantics, whereas C++ is more of an immediate implementation for arbitrary use cases. Yeah, exactly. Voila example, JS created for web, and sure, you can use it for mobile app, but still not a good idea for mobile dev. I think it depends, right? Because with JavaScript, you can write JavaScript using React Native. You could write JavaScript using what is it? You can use Tori. You could put a JavaScript app inside of Tori and then compile it to be a mobile app, and it's perfectly fine. And I think there's actually a lot of mobile apps out there that I think a lot of people don't realize are actually JavaScript stuff behind the scenes, and really like not easy to tell. Yeah, so Ionic is another example for that. So for my I've remember reading, but I don't have the link to it anymore, so I don't know if it's true anymore. But like the Amazon Web Store Kindle app, most of the conference apps, if you ever go to like a conference and you get their app, most of those are built using web technologies. Now, games, something else like that, no, probably not. Like I couldn't even imagine creating one of those in a JavaScript technology. But it depends upon the use case, right? Like if the user doesn't need a lot of the features of like a native application, then you can get both Android and iOS at the same time with Ionic or React Native or Tori or something like that. Doesn't React Native actually, like the reason why it's called native is it doesn't create a web view. It actually builds it builds something else, I think. It's been a long time since I've looked at it though. Drago, welcome, Raiders, and how are you doing? How's your stream? Flutter's still better. I haven't used Flutter, but the end result of all of this. Well, I'll come back to that. First of all, Raiders, how are you doing? How is your stream? What are you working on today? You're learning OOP in Java. Nice. How is OOP? I love that every time I want to pronounce like OOP as oop, I just want to also just like add in an S at the end and just be like really trolly and just like, oh, you learned oops. But that's a terrible thing to say to somebody who's learning a technology, because OP has like a really good, like there's a good place to use it, especially in languages that are OOP. You're about to study here. You're about to study heredity. Nice. Yeah. OP in Java is interesting because it's like an example of how good it can be. And also once you realize and you look at some real life apps, how not good it is at the exact same time. It's hilarious. Can I share the best roadmap of Rustling? So like, you mean learning Rustling? Oh, and I guess before I answer that one, I'll answer your previous questions or thoughts, or I'll respond to your previous questions or thoughts. But everybody, welcome. We are doing a shameless plugin coming. Well, of course, right? That's what we always have to do. Okay, so we're working on an LMS, a project that I have in Rust and WebAssembly. It's called U is the framework that we're using, and we're trying to get a text entry, a text area to empty out when it's done. It's very React based, so if you're familiar with that, you're pretty much familiar with U. It just is then Rust on top of that. We have been chatting about programming in general, and especially for native and web, and like, you know, what technology are best for things. And it gets a little bit weird. So if I were to put on a manager hat, which I wish I had something that would like denote a manager, but I only have an exploration hat. As a manager, I don't care about the technology, and the user doesn't care about the technology. All they care about is, are the problems being solved? Like, does the user's problems get solved? And 99% of the time, if it's not a game or something that like needs really high performance, then what they really want is problems to be solved, bugs to be fixed quickly, and new features to be added when they want it, like at a regular cadence. And whatever allows you to do that is the right language to use. And so if you have a team of developers who know web technology, then using the web technology to deploy like a mobile app is the right choice, because that allows you to get value to your users faster, you can make updates to it, and you don't need to hire like a single person that all they do is like the web stuff. Because then the next thing you know is you're going to have web stuff that is, or sorry, mobile stuff. But okay. So then he asked, best roadmap of Rust language. So I wish I had like a course that I was working on for like learning Rust. I'm going to eventually, but I need the LMS to be really solid for that, because that's going to be a big, huge thing. But so right now, the best roadmap for that, start with something called the book. If you go to, if you just search for Rustlang book, it is basically one of these, but you don't have to buy it. You can go to the first link that I see here. Takes me to the book, which is, we can see this is there he goes. There's a link to the book. It has, it basically walks you through everything. It's it's book-like, so it's going through and explaining things in English language, and then also there's translations for it too if you don't speak English, or you want to read it in your native language. And let's see, then I would say minimum you need to go through the first probably, well, absolutely minimum would be the first 6 chapters. Generally good idea to go to 10 chapters, and then after that you can just go through, like, look through the rest of it. Last question. Why use U instead of Actix or Rocket? So U is a front-end framework, so it's basically running the code in the browser itself. Actix and Rocket is going to be for running APIs, like running back-end code. So you might, like, for example, I might use U with Actix or with Axum or with Rocket. So they're not mutually exclusive in this case. So it would probably be more of you and one of Actix or Rocket, Axum, and so on. I hope that answers the question. And if it doesn't, let me know, and I will try again. Okay. I think absolutely glad to help out if I can. I think, ooh, what if on this I get an on update, an on input, and I throw that into here. No, I update the value with on input. What are my choices? When I have a text area, there's several different events that I can connect into it. If it's on update, I think that's when I lose. That's when I lose. Oh, what is it called? I lose focus on it. On blur is like also a lose focus thing. On input is like every keystroke, but I don't necessarily get what the thing is, like the full value, but maybe it can work. Let's try it. So if I do on input equals, I'm going to want so this is going to be something. So it's, I don't know if it's going to be like the actual input itself or if it's going to be the value of the thing. So let's just do a glue console log, and we say, input, and we'll just throw the something in there and see if that's valid. On input, we can do that. No, can't do that. We can do that. Volcanic Popsicle, hello. What is U? U is a front-end framework that is in Rust. So you write Rust code. Now you can see that I have HTML embedded inside of Rust here. I can also embed CSS too. And then that renders / creates WebAssembly code along with some connecting JavaScript glue code. And then I can run that in the browser. And that's what we have right here. So yeah, front end with Rust. Also, hello, Frammy? Hello, how are you doing today? This man must be insane. It's infinitely better than it was like 5 years ago. Like 5 years ago, it would be absolutely insane to try to build anything web in Rust at all. But now it's actually really good and it's fast. And there's competition. So U was one of the first ones that was like really big and got people sort of like thinking, hey, this could work. It's based upon React. And then Leptos has basically, as far as I can tell, taken the lead. There's some other ones too, like Daxus and Seed, but I don't really hear of them being used too much. I mostly hear two, Leptos and U. Interesting. So it has data-driven markup running on server or client. Yes, it depends upon which framework you use. It's like you can actually, there are frameworks in which it will do like server-side rendering. So you can get server-side rendering, which is running on the server and then rendering it and sending it to the client. U is by default, and really it's like shines on the single page applications, like React style applications in the web. So you're basically doing data-driven markup in the browser. Okay, so here's all my stuff, my input coming in. Oh, look at that. I have data, and then each time it running is one of the keystrokes, one of the characters coming in. But can I see like the full data too? So here's the data. I have the explicit original target, which gives me that, which maybe I can use that to get the value of it. I have the original target. I have the source element. I have the target. So maybe we can just use target and then value. So there should be a value in here. Yeah, right there. Now, can I do that? So this is the input value. Can I say let I don't want to lose this value, so let cool. Did I say it was using React or something similar? It's modeled after React. So U is very much trying to re-implement everything that is React as much as it can within the limitations of Rust. 404 not found. Hello. Do I use Rust in my day job also? No, I don't. Unless you count this my day job, which it's not. I'm half-time. I'm half-time on Brooks Builds now, but my other day job is all web type stuff. So I'm in web services. I'm not using Rust because I don't want to be trapped there, and I don't want I'm the only one now who's doing web stuff. So while I could, it would screw them all over completely because they it's really hard to hire Rust devs. And if I leave and they don't have a Rust dev, they're screwed. So I don't want to do that. I feel like for startups, it's going to be really rough to use Rust in it for, I don't know, until a lot more education comes along to help new developers learn Rust and like jump in on that, because their Rust developers are way too expensive for startups right now. Are you building any small app base on Rust plus ChatGPT? I want to. There's a few different ideas that I have for ChatGPT. I think would be a lot of fun. What I want to do is I want to get some things going on with this, get some courses going on, and then maybe we can take a look into some fun things. The ChatGPT with Rust is one of them. All right. So like React, but better, hopefully. I want to say that, yes, it's like React, but better. But it also has been a long time since I've used React. So a lot of things have changed, and I stopped using React right when hooks became a big thing. So I missed a huge amount of React stuff. Asitsu, am I the only one who wants AI out of all my stuff? It's okay. I'll replace all of your AI with ML. Does that make it any better? Are we allowed to use Llama or something instead of apps for apps instead of ChatGPT? I mean, I as long as they have APIs, why not, right? Okay, what am I doing here? I want to get the target. So target equals our input value. So I get the target. Okay, so this is getter for the target field of the object. Okay. Which gives me an event target. Now, can I get target dot value? Type annotations needed. Oh no. Okay. This is an input event. Okay, that gives me an event target. No method named value found for enum option. Oh, because you're an option. So here, let's just unwrap you. No method name. Oh, okay. So we're gonna have to cast this, aren't we? It doesn't. Okay, so it doesn't know what to grab for this. So I need to into something unchecked. Into something unchecked. You can just have an AI local to your server rather than using OpenAI. Yeah, that I haven't looked at any of those yet. Those sound pretty interesting too, and a lot more up my interest alley. That I like to look at things where they're not like just taking your data and incorporate it into their training. Sometimes. You already know React and Rust, so you're not really looking into other JS web frameworks. Okay. Yeah, this would basically, it's for the most part, it's pretty familiar to what I remembered in in React, and it's pretty easy to get into it. You refuse to use ChatGPT. I look at Shuttle and Zed, both things that I want to use, and I see so much emphasis on AI. Yeah, there's it's. I would say that we're on the. Oh, let me see if I can follow up, because it's such a fun hype cycle chart. This one. I would say, oh, come on. This, what? How about this one? Much better. I would say that, now I'm not an expert in machine learning or AI or anything else, so I don't actually know. My completely uneducated read on the situation is that we are right around here. I think we're past the peak of inflated expectations. I think we're on the downslope now. We're starting to see more and more articles about how AI is not actually working the way we would expect it to. There's a lot of companies that like fire a lot of people that tried to use AI and then got into trouble because AI didn't actually do what they wanted to for them. And I think that there's going to be a hard crash of AI stuff. And then it's going to come back and it's going to be really, really good. But then we're going to get this like very slow growth where it's going to be actually like, that's going to be the stuff that when they're talking about like, oh, it's going to replace all these jobs and everything else. This is when that happens. I think we're right here when we're realizing that LLMs are not the AI that is going to do this. Using ChatGPT for coding, you notice fast when it's wrong. So yes, if you know what you're doing. This is really important. If you know what you're doing, you can recognize what is wrong. The problem is ChatGPT is incredibly confident in response style. Like it uses wording as if it can never be wrong. It is 100% right. And if you know what it's talking about, if you're in the domain that it says something, you know, oh no, you're wrong. Let me like ask you more stuff and like get you to respond correctly, which then in that case, it works fine. But if you have no clue, if you're trying to use like to learn programming from scratch, you're going to think that it's your fault. Because how can ChatGPT, this super confident, clearly everybody has been hyping how amazing it is at different things, how can it be wrong? And my code is not compiling, it must be me. I must be doing it wrong. That's the thing that I'm worried about a lot. Totally, ChatGPT isn't going to replace software engineering jobs. If anything, it'll mean we need more software engineers. I fully agree. I think we're going to need a lot more software engineers. Eventually, not ChatGPT, but something else AI will probably replace software engineering, but this is a long time from now. But then the software engineer mindset is going to be super, super important because what we do isn't going to change. The technology we use absolutely is. Haha, yeah, it is very confident, but at least it admits when you call it out for being wrong. I don't. If you pay attention to what it says, the first time you call it out, like, okay, you believe me. Like you're admitting that you're wrong. But enough times where it just says like, oh yeah, I'm totally sorry. I got that wrong. Here's like, and then it's like the exact same problem again, or it's just like another problem again. At that point, it starts feeling, what's the right word for it? It stops feeling authentic for being wrong and starts feeling like it's just trying to cover its own ass and trying to like, oh, don't be upset at me. Here, let's try this thing instead. It's like, and it really shows it doesn't have any actual clue what's really going on. It's just hoping that it gets it right. And sometimes it does. And sometimes it gets it very, very wrong. And then oftentimes it's somewhere in the middle. It does have a tendency to repeat itself. Yes. There is maybe it's unchecked. Ooh, this one is unchecked into, and I want to turn you into a text area, HTML text area element. There we go. Why are, oh, you're that because of that. Okay. Now I can get the value, right? You know, I don't understand why. Helix, when I do this, removes that last parentheses consistently. I guess it's not Helix. It happened to me in VS Code too. It in JavaScript and everything, like whatever it's using is just sucks. I don't like the fact that it like replaces my closing parentheses on me. But okay, we have that closed. So now I open up you, type you in. We're getting the full thing. Okay, great. So now I want to set this value. So we need the block trick again. Except not here. I want, hold on. I want opening there. Put a block here. And we're going to say let value equals value. So we clone you. We move you in. Then here we now get to say value dot set. We have an attribute value from target dot value. Unexpected token, because I forgot a parentheses on there. All right, sorry, forgot a semicolon on there. There it goes. Okay, so now that value then goes into use effect with dependencies. Use effect with deps is very similar if you know React, very similar to the React use effect with the like, what is it called? The thing at the end where you have like the array or object or something at the very end of it where it compares like all the stuff and whether or not it's going to run. That's what that is. Baboozled, hello. For me, Rust clicked for me when I learned to embrace writing unsafe Rust code. Every now and then I need a raw pointer, and if I couldn't do that, it would be way too strict to work with. Yeah, I've my programming that I work with is, I don't really work with unsafe very often. For me, it's almost like fun puzzle-like. That just might be weirdness on my part. Like I enjoy it for like the challenge of it, but then once you get through the challenge of it, you're like, oh, I can just be effective with this. So it's really like the learning part of it was really fun, and then it's like, oh, okay, now I can do stuff with it. Okay, so I have that. We submit. Okay, well, that hasn't changed anything. Now, what I was hoping would do, with this value comes into attribute value, and I prop value clone this into use effect with dependencies, and the hope was that it was going to cause it to say, hey, this is now empty, right? And then I set this to be whatever this props value is, which is empty. Which isn't, that's not use effect running. So use effect did not run again on the submit. Did I get, I did get the form data. So I got this. So we have BB form on submit here. So that came in here. And then I text area value set, and I set this to be empty string again. So because it didn't change, Oh, it really is model for reactive has use effect. Oh yeah, absolutely. It has, and it has like the same effects of use effect, which I am apparently struggling with right now. And unfortunately, I'm running out of time, so I'm probably gonna have to finish this up in the afternoon stream. You started Lua writing games, and despite it being GC'd or garbage collected, I still had to be pretty aware of how references and owners were operating. It really just felt like I was manually debugging what the compiler would tell me for free. I personally don't find much benefit in trying to run away from how memory works. It always comes up. Yeah, Rust definitely forces you to like learn memory, even if you're not doing like unsafe type stuff. I would argue for that. I don't like use effect. The idea that some code somewhere can magically be triggered because some value changed is crazy obscure if you're working with an unfamiliar code base. I'm okay with use effect, but with a caveat that I hate the name. Like I really, really, really dislike the name use effect. Now I understand that like there's like you're causing like an effect to happen on certain life cycle changes, and if you use effect with depths, then you can like control that more. I really wish though that and the use hooks, like there's a both React and Vue have third-party hooks that you can pull into your project and use them. Those provide you better named use effects essentially. So you can basically say like use effect at launch, like, or use effect once, basically at launch, run some code and never run it again. Like things like that. And okay, so what I need to do, because I have my day job coming up, I have my stand up at 9 o'clock, which is in 20 minutes or so. You only use effect for page load code. It's also like useful for this type of thing. I just have to remember the right pattern to like use it for this, which of course is like, I don't remember anymore. So I think I'm gonna let my subconscious percolate through this for a bit, but we'll figure this out. Hopefully by the end of the day, I'll have it working, and we'll deploy out an update to the what is it called, the actual like LMS out there. If I open up, no, that's Discord. I want to open up Twitch. Let's see. Raimu has only 4 viewers right now, and is working on his data disintegrator, which is in, yeah, he's in Rust today. So he's been working on this data disintegrator, which is taking a GIF image, I think, and GIF. I go back and forth on the pronunciation of it, and basically doing stuff to it, which is pretty cool and interesting. So I'm going to set up a raid for him. Raid. That's not the right command to do. I want raid Raimu. There we go. That's the right command for it. Okay. So for everybody, thank you so much for watching. My schedule for the week, I'm streaming every single day, twice a day. I'm streaming, this is the morning stream here. It's about for an hour and a half. I'm usually stop around 15 minutes ago. And then in the afternoon, I'll be back at 2:30 p.m. Mountain time. And I'll be streaming for 2 hours then. So I'm hoping to be able to solve this problem at that time. Thank you, everybody, for, again, hanging out with me, figuring this out. I hope that you all have a great rest of your Monday. And if I see you in the afternoon stream, look forward to seeing you then. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye.